Hey, welcome to Talking Hawks, the biggest fan-based Hawthorn show on the planet. I'm Brad. Welcome, Matt and Reese. How are you, fellas?
You've had a great wind-up there, Brad. I'm good, mate. Are you okay?
Look, I'm doing my best, all right, because I've had to drag myself up the stairs, into the room, in front of the camera, to talk to your beautiful faces and the people watching. I'm bloody disappointed. That's all I can say.
How you going, Reese?
Yeah, good. Thanks, boys. And I'm with Brad. That was flattening, but got a lot to get through and looking forward to it.
Oh, mate. Your response there really lifted my spirits, Reese. We're good to go. Hey?
We'll get there. There are some positives to talk about. I think we've got to look at moments rather than full performances, and there were plenty of them. So it's not the end of the world. It's just an unfortunate blip, we hope.
Mate, with a political statement like that, you should run in next Victorian election, and I think you would be made the Premier.
Thanks, mate. I've got Jeff in my corner giving me some tips. So thanks.
If we look at the whole season, and Hawks fans, look at the whole season with me. Today I got my scarf, I got the pack. You know, look at it across the whole season. It's all good. We've got a bit of perspective to shed on tonight, hopefully. But boys, what do we got tonight, Brad?
Well, we're going to go through obviously the ups and downs of the highs and the lows of the game against St Kilda. And we're going to then touch on Box Hill, and then obviously we are going to go through this round against West Coast Eagles, who, look, I think they're gettable, but I'm also kidding myself. So, you know, we'll maybe find out where. I think Reese is right. Unfortunately, we're going to have to look at just little pockets of great things. So, hey, if you're joining us tonight, thanks for coming on here. Tag a Hawthorn mate. Get your phone out now and tag them on this show and get them on here. We want to hear where you're watching from, so let us know. Thanks for joining us here. Cody Mantle, he's a regular. Good to see you here, mate. Well done. Boys, let's talk about St Kilda, the St Kilda game. Were you as surprised as I was at that result?
What I liked at the start, I liked the confidence of Gunston in the middle. And I was like, hello, he's back. He's Mr. Swiss Army Knife himself. He can do it all. He's done it all. Peter Crimmins medalist, 2020. Here we go. And then he got moved everywhere and spent too much time down back. But I liked him in the middle for a bit of X factor to start, seeing as we were down Jager and Wingard and Burgoyne, which, geez, where was the wheelchair, Brad? I thought we were going to get him out on a wheelchair until who knows when. Where was it?
Yeah, I was disappointed. They're three big outs, fellas. I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm making excuses, but they're really big outs. They're three of our top five players easily. And I'm putting Burgoyne in there as our top five. He's been solid this year. So, yeah.
Good on you, Sam. Yep, let's keep going. So, yeah, I like that for a start. Interesting for me. Look, you don't have any problems when you get some seniors moved aside and you get someone like Cousins coming through and firing like that, do you? Like it's a year of consolidation, I think. What did you think of Cuz, boys?
Yeah, I campaigned. That's a good start. Campaigned for him at the start of the year to get in there, and then his first game against the season against the Crows, and then he was at half forward. I'm thinking, oh no, but a shining light on Saturday. I thought Cuz 27 and plenty of it. Still early to criticise his ball use, I think. I think that'll come with time. Let's appreciate the fact he's getting his hands on the ball first, and then what he does with it will come later. But, yeah, I'm with you, Matt. I thought he was very good.
For those that are on Big Footy, I was actually sitting next to Houdini Hudson, if you know him, and he watched a lot of Box Hill over many years. He's the binoculars for Axeman. He said Cousins and Reeves, that connection that they've got, it'll be when he saw Cousins on half-off flank, it just he sank a little bit. But look, you stick him in the guts, and that's where he's obviously most comfortable. So, yeah, but apparently, and then the scoop there is also that Reeves just probably not a little bit. He needs to put on a bit more strength before he gets a bit of a look in at the top level. But anyway, it's too slow though for mine. The ball movement. What did you?
Oh, they're way too fast, Matt. They absolutely slaughtered us. And look, as I love Brad Hill, I don't love him against us, right? And what a time for the man to find form. They wanted his blood the week before. I mean, I was sitting in the crowd near the wing, near the 50-metre, paid incredible amount of money for these amazing tickets. I'll never forget the money I laid out to watch us get slaughtered by Brad Hill. Thanks, Brad. Thank you, mate. But seriously, I was sitting in the stands and they were screaming out taunts to Brad Hill. And all of a sudden, very slowly, within the first 10 to 15 minutes, those taunts from the St Kilda players to Brad Hill started turning into praise. And, man, were they shouting it loud. They loved him. He was absolutely carving us up. The last 2 seasons, we seem to have this amazing tact and ability to help other teams get into form. What is that, fellas?
It's emotional supporting right there, Bradley. That's what that is.
Oh.
Yeah, we've been up the top for so long. We're just happy to help out. But I think I think it was weird. Oh, not weird. I should probably use another adjective there. But I think it was a bit different when they kicked the first 5, and we're almost used to that happening. Not necessarily at the start of the game, of course, but someone got to a 5-goal lead, and you kind of went, "We're not out of it. We're not out of it." And I think the dam wall broke, and we just couldn't get it back. But I think the disappointing thing for me, like you guys said, they had pace on the ball, and we just didn't guard the corridor just at all. It's like they roped off the centre square Auskick style and just went, "No, Hawks are allowed in here." Like, that was the frustrating thing for me. And considering Hunter Clark, Zach Jones, and Brad Hill are so quick, they just took us to pieces.
Mate, they read us better than a Women's Weekly. They read us so well. They knew our game plan. They were completely all over us, and they shut down our style, our run, the whole thing. Like, but the thing with St Kilda that was really it was hard to not admire was how hard they ran and how fast they ran and for how long they ran. It's anytime we tried to do it, they just shut it down. And it didn't help that it was a bloody a Vic Market meat convention out there, and it was butchering everywhere going on. It was just shocking.
From you.
Sorry? Some perspective on that. He's been building these up since the weekend. He's got them all ready to roll. Look, what really resonated with fans was a post we put out there. That's the youngest Hawthorn team that we've fielded under Clarkson this year. 11 players, 23 and under. So, like, Cousins.
Don't tell me this year, Matt. Tell me in Clarkson's career. That's what I want to hear. Not this year.
But you've taken issue with Clarko still putting in some seniors, and then he makes way, and then you've still having issues with us being too slow and not having it all together. What do you want?
I want my cake and I want to eat it. That's what I want. All right?
Well, you've got your Women's Weekly and you've got your meat market. So, look, Cousins, Morrison, Lewis, Warple, Hanrahan, Scrimshaw, CJ, Moore, McGuinness, Koschitzke, and Jekka. You got your Jekka.
I got my Jekka. I was really disappointed he missed that goal. That shot at goal
on the wing too.
Just anyway. Look, I'm glad I got to see him though, and that mark he took in the first quarter. I was like, Jekka! I was so excited, and then it went nowhere.
We still got the fans tuning in from all around the world. We had someone from the UK before. It was Brett. How good is that?
Awesome.
It's beautiful.
Mate, Brett, if you're not able to watch all the games, tell us tonight in the chats what you're needing to know about the Hawks tonight. We'll do our best. And he's asked, I'll come back to DGB. But, I think with a young player, young group of players, we've got KSJR. I don't know if it's an inconsistent game plan. Just interested in your thoughts, and other fans maybe just drop it in the chat. Is this what you think's happening, or is it our inability to execute? Because I think it's more just that linking and knowing of each other, and a young group now learning with you had 3 senior heads out that would normally be a good voice in directing some traffic. Do you think it's an inconsistent game plan? Because that's not quite what I'm seeing.
I think it's the kids that are inconsistent more than the game plan, and that's going to come with kids. That's what's going to happen, and we're going to have to live with it. We went through 5 now really competitive games. The Melbourne blowout and this blowout, not the best examples, but the other 5 games we were in up to our eyeballs. Some people can say we're lucky to win 2. We could have won 4 with Freo and Geelong, and these things are going to happen. We're going to ride the wave. These kids are going to come good. You can't get all of these selections wrong. So stick fat. We're going to be all right. We're going to complain because no one wants to see their team lose, but I think we've got to have faith in some of these kids at the end of the day, and they are good kids.
Yeah, Reece, I think you summed it up well, mate. It's I guess what it does remind me of was the early years under Clarkson when he was rebuilding the team. That's what it reminds me of. We're getting these young blokes in. We've got to blood them. And he was moving the older guys out. And I think that slowly but surely some of these older blokes are going to be moved out and the young blokes are going to be moved in. And we're just going to have, a season or 2 of crappy performances. And by year 3, we'll win a premiership.
That's the plan.
Yeah. So Clarko came in 04, didn't he? Was it 04?
Yeah, right at the end. And I think 05 might have been that first year of Clark.
So 5 was the first year. So so we had 05, 6, 7, three seasons of it was 2 seasons of crappy performances, and then 7 we got the finals, and 8 we won the premiership. So why not? Look, I guess that if I can look at it philosophically from that point of view, then I'm happy to have these shitty games.
There we go. So I think Anthony pointing out the slowness, and as did I, it might be a little bit, if you're not following the game plan, it's not naturally going to flow. If there's, fumbling and all of that, I don't think St Kilda's pressure was anywhere near Richmond's. And we copped that heat for 3 quarters and competed. So anyway, Tim O'Brien for mine is a question. Is he taking away from CJ, or Scrimshaw had a cracking game? So well done to him, record disposals for him for career-wise. But is Tim O'Brien down back, although he can take a mark down there for us? Is that causing a few issues? Brad?
Look,
fans,
tell me. I don't think we've got much of a choice at the moment, Matt. I mean, look at the role that Tim played against Adelaide. If he didn't go down back, we would have lost. We would have been destroyed. So I think Tim's getting swung down back to stop the bleeding and the hemorrhaging. So, and the one thing he does do well is either an intercept mark down back. He can't take a mark. He generally can't take a mark up forward. But he can take one down back, and he can also bring the ball to ground, which then helps us to compete. So him down back is a great option. I don't see him in our long-term future though. So I don't see him part of this next team that's going to take us to a premiership. So now it's just a stopgap. That's all I think. So is he robbing a spot? Yes. Do we need him? Yes.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I agree with that mostly. But of the 3 tall backs, Hartigan, himself, and Frost, I thought he was the best of the 3, and he's going to need to be down there next week. We'll get more into the West Coast game later, but there are 3 blokes called Kennedy, Darling, and Allen who are pretty handy that we're going to need to try and stop. And
we're in trouble.
He's probably the best matchup for Allen to go in the air and athletically. So I think he needs to stay. I agree with Brad. I don't think he's going to be a part of the next premiership side. We also don't have anyone to replace him with, and that's
not until Sicily comes back, right? So, and here's the other thing. Here's the other thing, right? Not until Sicily comes back.
One last thing. I'm just concerned about CJ's role because he's been flying, that being adapted too much right now to make room for Tim. But go on.
All right. So I don't let me just say I love Frosty. I don't care what anyone says. I love him. But that was the worst game I've seen him play.
Yeah.
He had a few mates too.
He is not going to reflect very well and positively on that particular game. He's going to need some help from Tony Robbins or the Pope. I don't know. He needs something, guys, because that's going to be the most tormenting game that he'll ever reflect back on again. So he was trying to do something. Come on, I'll give him that. And look, it took a mate of mine, good, strong Saints fan. He's just like, we've got these forwards, we've got players this week doing stuff they haven't been doing it all season. So there was, Brad Hill did have Nicky Winmar, the great, have a chat to him and give him a rev up. Would have been nice if it was, this week rather than last week. But I've got an idea. Why don't we get a great alongside our young, maybe Brockman, maybe Cyril Rioli, and we'll just throw a bag of cash at him. Just come in for match payments. We'll just pay you 30 or 40 grand or 50 grand a match, whatever it takes.
Bob in for 3, so might do it then.
There we go. That's the rendezvous.
All right, so
that game.
All right, so I need to round out my criticism. Sorry. So that's Frosty. Hartigan. I'm sorry. I was excited at the start of the season, but now I'm starting to see what the Adelaide supporters were saying about Hartigan.
Wow,
guys, I'm sorry. I know I don't like to be the bearer of bad news, but man, his decision making's killing me. And that game, obviously, that wasn't a great one from him either. That was pretty bad.
Thinking, is it decision making by hand? Is it when he's under pressure? Is it by foot? What are you seeing?
I'm seeing he can't compete, and he can compete maybe I don't know. I see him maybe win a quarter of the time, but he's getting outworked, outmanned, outrun, outbodied. He's getting beaten, and every now and then he'll win. And I think that's praiseworthy, but I see him losing more than he's winning, and that's bothering me. And then when he gets the ball, his decision making with it isn't ideal.
We're in trouble though if we need our fullback to be the best kick in the team. He's not getting it's almost like the same criticism to Timmy 3 weeks ago. He just can't hang on to a ball at the moment. I actually thought, especially in the first half, I thought his body work, especially on Tim Membry, was actually quite good, and then it kept slipping through. But yeah, that 3-year deal. Oof.
That was my point.
Let's
what do you do when you're a backman and you've it's just coming in thick and fast? It's like, it wouldn't matter if you had who's been out some of our best. If you had Lake, if you had Frawley, if you had whoever, you could name.
Like he would have shut him down.
Come on the show, Brian. Anyway, look, it's an interesting one. Go on. Have you finished your rant?
I'm finished.
All right. Here's the perspective. The maestro, Scott Williams.
Good call, Scotty.
That's the man of the night. That's brilliant.
All right. On the positives.
Yes, thank you. That's what I was going to go with. Yes, all right. All of us, one each, one positive player. Let's. Brad's got his rant. Brad needs to have a rant about a good one now.
Yeah, I wonder why he shone so well.
Have you got some stats there, Race? I've got some here if you haven't.
No, go for it, Matt. You're all good.
Yeah, 33 disposals, so 20 kicks, 13 hands, 3 marks, 7 tackles, if you don't mind, and 11 clearances. So Scrimshaw, 33 as well, if you don't mind, 17 kicks, 16 hands, 8 marks, and a tackle, but 85% disposal efficiency, and that's from a backman. All right, maybe your old mate Hartigan gets it to him every now and then, and away we go. So. All good.
All right. So Daniel Hooper's shutting me down here. Thanks, Daniel. Now imagine if we didn't have Hartigan in the side, we'd have full forwards kicking 10 on us. He'd be able to put body or apply pressure to the heavyweights. But yeah, ball use needs work. Well, he slightly agrees. He's giving me a little out there. Thank you, Daniel.
Yeah, he's speaking my language, Daniel. All right, Matt, your positive player.
It was for mine. I really like Cousins, just letting him rip. And that was, for mine, just more time in the midfield because we had the outs. So for me, if that's a sign of things to come, that just that left me, or allowed me to leave the ground with a little bit of a glimmer of hope. So it gives us, we've got to find another position for him because he didn't look the greatest half forward flank, but that's okay. Maybe it just means more time in the middle and you re-engineer that midfield a bit more.
You're up next, Brad. A little bit of positivity for the room.
Look, I'd say Worpel. I loved it. He worked hard, and I don't know. There's something about Worpel. He seems to do well when the pressure's on him. He seems to rise to the occasion when the pressure's on him. So I think he loves a challenge and he likes to rise to it. But you put these two superstars in Tom Mitchell and Jager O'Meara in there, he's in their shadow, and I don't think he rises. He becomes a role player then, as opposed to it all falls on his shoulders. So, and yep, he rose to the challenge and did his best. Obviously, it wasn't enough, but it's he was, for me, he was my positive.
I thought you said it was the hot dogs and chips, but that's okay.
He shines under responsibility, the Warpedo, and that future leader written all over him, I think.
Yeah. So it sets us up nicely, I guess, just to look forward. There is, taking stock, and we try to look at the silver linings here, people. So it'll be interesting when we get to, shall we jump briefly onto Box Hill?
Yep, go.
Go for it.
They've had a big win.
Hey!
They really turned it on in the last quarter. So of the listed players, it was 128-98. They beat Sandringham. Greene's kicked 5. He's not a listed player. Adduci 4. Brockman 2. Hartley 1. I'm going to skip over a few there. Morris, Howe, both 1. So that's promising. But Howe 29 posies, Nash 20. For mine, I like seeing Howe be able to turn that on again. Hartley probably, maybe we'll go through some players that we think, and the fans who you think should come in. We can get a bit of responses, but for mine, that was promising. And I think Greaves had a quieter one this week, but Brockman 16 disposals, 2 goals. That's nice. And Daniel Howe kicked a goal to go with his 30 posies. So won't go into too much. Down is one that we've been asking around. He played mostly on the wing. And looking good when the ball's in his hands, but he's struggling a bit to get involved often enough. So for mine, it sounds like Downey might not be playing himself into form, but we did have Greaves as emergency that then played. So he ended up with 11 disposals and 2 tackles. So quieter by his perhaps potential standards of last year, but he did have a shutdown role against Jack Loney. So strong offensive influence in the second half. But that's the quick wrap on Box Hill. So.
Awesome. Look, boys, so sorry, Matt, you said who should come in. I thought long and hard about it. Now I've been keeping this under wraps for a long time, but I decided to pull out the Guernsey tonight because I'm putting my hand up for the Hawks. Now we need to keep it on the down low because I know Geelong loves a middle-aged man to play in their side. But I'm willing to put up my hand, right? I'll even replace Hartigan because I'm about his size.
You'd be a fitter medical club than 2 weeks ago too.
The jersey's a little tight, but I'll pull it on. I'll do a Stewie do. All right, I'm going out there.
Mate, I'll pay. I don't know if I'll pay the big bucks, but I'll pay to come and watch that.
I'll need the big bucks for the medical bills, mate, for all the hamstrings and calves I'm going to do. So
Daniel Hooper has got a gig for you there. Just toddle on down the road there and get in there.
Down the bottom of my street, that one. Well done, Frankston. Just don't beat Box Hill. So
yeah.
Hey, good to see them back. Good to see Frankston back and back in it as well. And they have a Hawthorn legend, Buckanara, running their club at the moment. So he's the president. Yeah. Sorry. So doing well. More Hawthorn influence there. Well done.
So can we get a show maybe of
go on, Matt.
Can we get a show maybe from the fans? Sing out who you like. We've had a little bit of a start here, but just give us a heart or a thumbs up if you're liking some of these players. We've got Brockman. Is he ready straight away? Has he played himself back into enough form?
Yep.
I didn't think he played himself out of form to begin with. So
Yeah,
I think they just put him down to help him keep a level head. I don't know. I don't know why they dropped him down. I mean, that last game he played in, it wasn't terrible, but it's sort of like it didn't make sense to me why they dropped him in the first place. I thought he was starting to run himself into some form, and I think it's more a management thing why they dropped him down as opposed to performance. So
he's fifth for average pressure acts this year, Brocky. Not bad for a first-year player, and perhaps the ball exiting our forward 50 so easily in the last sort of 3 weeks, he could be. Well, he absolutely is a reason why with those numbers. So, yeah, speed, pressure, forward line, absolutely get him back in, I think. Who he comes in for is an interesting question, though. I know he was MVP a couple of weeks ago, but is Ollie's spot in trouble?
I don't know if it's in trouble. He's been in good form, but I would be bringing. I like Brockman, but it's until Breust retires, I'd be playing Brockman over Ollie myself. Future, blood those young blokes. And Ollie's good, he's serviceable, but I don't know if he's going to be. He may be a future Breust, maybe.
I think he's doing enough. I wonder if he's a little bit your scapegoat, Race, but I think just Cody's got your back here, Brad. I'm going to take this out of context. I think he'd have you in the side. So
thanks, Cody.
Jekka, what are the thoughts, fans? Are we seeing Jekka stay in? Give us a heart or a thumb.
I hope so.
Weather permitting for me. McGovern out, absolutely expose their short back line. But if it's a bit wet on Sunday, I haven't checked the weather reports. He might.
It's going to be magic.
Trouble, but geez, he's stiff. Wasn't the best 2 hours for him to get involved in. His first touch was magnificent.
Oh, yeah.
And deserved to kick that goal through. I hope he stays in. You don't go from that good a form to that out of form in 2 hours. So if it's dry, get him in there and watch him clunk them against the Eagles. I think.
I was watching him closely.
I think he was a bit stunned at the pace and the lights or something. It didn't look like how he's been playing at Box Hill. That's for sure. So I think that get some more games into him and he'll be right. So I'm hoping that they stick fat with him.
I believe it was he was just respecting some of the guys that have got a little bit more experience. And he wasn't going up. You'd see Tim O'Brien going up for everything. It didn't matter who else was going up. Well, maybe sometimes. But Jekka was actually consciously staying down at times. I was watching him because he was going up and Jack was staying down. I think he was trying to – I think that shows his footy smarts. Because at Box Hill the week prior, he was crashing every pack. And he was going for everything. So I don't know if it was the lights. I think it's just working out where to fit in with some other tall forwards because he probably doesn't have the same talent and athletic, tall timber at Box Hill that he's been playing with. So that's my take.
Yeah, and look, one other positive though, I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Cozzy. He looks like he's been playing for 3 or 4 years in the seniors. So he's got this air and this swagger about him like he belongs there, and I that can only do him good in my opinion, and it's good. Under pressure he seems to be performing well, so I'm really liking what I'm seeing.
Yeah,
we said it off the top that we've got to look at moments perhaps more than full performances, and he kicked their first 2 goals, and credit to him because we bloody needed them. But when you want to look at moments in the last quarter, I think there was about 5 or 6 minutes to go, the game's over, he ran 100 metres to chase down Jack Sinclair and pushed him off the contest, and Sinclair kicked the point. As an isolated moment, you think it's just a good chase from a forward. For a bloke who could be excused because there are a lot more teammates that could have put pressure on that didn't, for him to make that sprint, they're the things that keep him in the side. After his Rising Star nomination, he said, I want to do my bit and kicking goals is the bonus. That's doing his bit and then some. That was brilliant.
Yeah, good perspective, isn't it? Yeah.
It's good, Bruce.
So Lee's chiming in with more. Perhaps the replacement there.
Not Dylan Moore had more than 4 touches. Not that I don't want to cause an argument. I thought Dylan Moore had 18. I could be wrong, but from writing up during the week, I think he had 18 and kicked a goal. I think, again, happy to be wrong, but
all right, fans.
That was the case.
Yeah.
All right.
So Reeves, I touched on what I understand is what's holding him out, but what do you guys think? Is Reeves? Is it time? Is it Segs? Is it the mid-season draft? Reeves, you're going to give us something in shortly about some options to consider there mid-season draft-wise, which maybe does have some tall timber, but is it time to bring Reeves in for a chop out?
Yes. Bring Reeves in.
You got to ask who comes out. You can't play 9 talls or however many it would be.
Keep Segler out, maybe.
So he didn't play on the weekend.
Well,
yeah, I know, but when he comes back, I don't know.
Who's going out for Segs to come back in? Is it Tim O'Brien?
Yeah, you're asking the question I always ask now. Stop it. I don't like it when you do that.
I'm playing you at fullback this week, Brad. So that's my take.
Mate, I'm channeling Stewie Dew. Right,
Mate,
I've got a few pounds on me, but I'll be out there. Don't you worry.
I know you'll work on it the next few days. A few more Big Macs, you'll be in fine form. So
you've only got a premiership player who's probably a top 5 Eagle of all time and their leading goal kicker ever. So you're not up against much, Brad.
I could bench press them all combined, mate. Don't you worry. With these twig arms, I'm all over it. All right.
You've been a specimen. Just live in that memory, Brad.
Yeah.
All righty.
Right, moving on. All right. Yeah. All right. So mid-season draft. Let's talk about that.
Race ting. Tandalise us, Race. What should we be looking at?
All right. Well, the question we need to ask ourselves, as it sits right now, we have pick 3 in the mid-season draft. For those who don't know, the mid-season draft order is just the order as of round 11, reversed. There's no trading mid-season draft picks. There's none of that. It's what the ladder is, flip it round. And if the team that fits in that spot doesn't have a pick, they just fall out. Hawthorn do have a pick because a certain tall forward is not at the club anymore. He must not be named. So we do have a pick, and at this stage, it's looking like pick 3. Now, with players can nominate a 6-month contract, which of course would take them to the end of the season, or an 18-month contract, which takes them to the end of next season. I think the question Hawthorn need to ask themselves before they go into the draft is, do we need anything for the next 6 months? Do we need a project for the next 18 months? Now, from my point of view...
You went through that quickly. Let me just clarify, Ray. So it's a player will nominate if they would like to be having a crack for 6 months, a contract for 6 months or 18 months, and the club must take them at their nominated or their preference. Is that what I understood?
Yeah, so players can nominate if they want an 18-month contract, and clubs can try to negotiate with that. But once the draft day comes, that's, to my understanding from what I've read, that is the case. So I find it hard to believe you'd nominate for an 18 and a club would go, we only get 6. Seems a bit strange to me. But, yeah, there is a 6 and an 18 month.
This management, yeah.
That's a
I suspect there'd be some discussions with the player prior to them nominating.
Yes, and that's what we're about to get to. So, on the assumption that the Hawks do take someone, coming into the year, you could be excused. We had Jackson Callow train at the Hawks, who lost his spot to Lockie Bramble. There we go. Glenn Nelson's speaking my language here. Is Jackson an insurance policy for one of these talls? He has been playing well for Norwood, as we just put out. Kicked 1-2 on the weekend, took 7 grabs, was very good. There are 2 guys that I think stand out for different reasons, and I'll let you guys and the fans at home decide. Guy 1, and I'll explain my reasoning for this, is a 202-centimetre ruckman forward playing at Sandringham Dragons. His name's Jacob Edwards. Now, the problem that the Hawks have got, first of all, is North might take him. The good thing about it is that Hawthorn have interviewed Jacob Edwards and North haven't. As reported by the Herald Sun. Now, everything about this kid reads like Ben King. I'm not saying he is Ben King or he's going to be the next Ben King. Clubs are apparently falling over for this guy and one of his teammates, whose name I can't remember at the moment. That's Ned Moyle is his name, but we're focusing on Jacob at the moment. He, to me, sounds like the project player. As you guys know, I am sick and tired of us having 2 old ruckmen on our list, given no one else in the competition is doing it, barring the team that we're playing this weekend. And he won't play this year for us, I don't think, especially with Reeves in the wings. Could he be a Hawthorn player for the future? Absolutely. If North don't take him, so North, you didn't want to take a tall in last year's draft, so if you could help us out, that'd be great. So that's player one. This kid is going to be a gun wherever he goes. Now, if he doesn't nominate for the mid-season draft, he will go in the top 10. I don't think he gets to us, but he's definitely option number one.
So he's turning 19 in November. So, yeah, younger fella, as you said, project, but like the sound of a tall that's athletic.
Absolutely. And what Scott Recruiter's really happy is he rucks left and right-handed.
Oof.
Nice. The ambidextrous. Brad,
I think I've convinced Brad there. I think Brad's on board now.
Oh, I'm all over this.
Brad's going to be playing that at fullback this week. Both sides of the body. He's going to be all over.
How would you feel if you put yourself up for a mid-season draft and North Melbourne picked you up? You'd be like, no, I'll be right, mate. I'll go back to school.
Do you know what? I'm going to get a job. A real job. Yep.
Yeah. I'd rather work at McDonald's and go play for North Melbourne.
Yeah, I'm going to do my English literature VCE course.
Gender studies. Double up on gender studies.
I'm going to do my masters in flipping burgers. Go on. Reece, what do you got?
All
right, number two, Reece.
This is left field. I've only seen one report of this kid. He's playing in the Waffle Colts at the moment. His name's Jack Avery. Now, for the Waffle Colts, he is averaging Kerry, he is awesome. Big Jacob. So Jack Avery in the Colts is averaging 5 touches more than any other player so far. Now, for all the Hawthorn fans who potentially rightly so is thinking, oh, God, another midfielder, he's 6'3".
All right. It's a bit shorter, Matt. That's all right.
Well, we've got a few 6-footers and below, so a 6'3" fella goes all right.
Having a monster in the midfield would be quite all right. I can handle that. All right, so 6'3" midfielder, and he's averaging some possessions. All right, who's he playing for again?
On Saturday, he's playing for Peel Waffle Colts.
Peel,
yeah.
Okay.
And on the weekend, not one of his better performances. He had 41 and 13 marks. So a bit of a lazy day out for Big Jack there. So I think those two are definitely options. I'm of the opinion as well that if we fall out of the top 4 of the draft, I don't think we might take a player. But if we're definitely in that top 3, I think those two boys would be fantastic. So if you guys are sitting at the draft table and both of them are on the board, which one do you take?
Can you only take one?
We've only got one spot, and unfortunately, that's how the draft works.
All right. I don't know, mate. It's tough because our midfield's not doing great at the moment. It's pretty hot and cold. So I don't know, Matt. You choose.
Yeah, I agree with that sentiment. I'm going Avery on the basis of, just gives a little bit more depth and hopefully some polish. If he's racking up posies, then that's great. We can use someone that's a bit of a ball magnet, and whether he goes and gets his own, I think we could use a little bit more depth there and hopefully some polish. So I don't think we need another tall project as much as I love the idea of it, because going back to your Crody, Jonathan Hayday, I loved having the bookends and these magnificent athletes. But that's where I'm leaning at this point.
Yeah, not a fan of the projects. We've already got a couple, and nothing's really ever panned out with the projects.
If North don't take Edwards, I would suspect that he's going to be a Hawk. So I think it's up to North there. I don't think Collingwood could use a tall forward, but with Grundy and Cameron, I think they're more likely to take a midfielder as well. So I think North's pick will decide what we do, but there's a couple of boys there potentially. But the Victorian mid-season draft kids play a game, the Colgate Youth Boys game at Werribee on Saturday, so we'll know more then. So if we want to touch base again next week, I'll keep an eye on that game and the reports from there. But just as we sit here a month out, the mid-season draft's on June 2nd, so a couple of boys to keep an eye out of for the Hawks fans out there.
Yep.
Love it, Kyle. That's a fantastic rundown of the mid-season draft. So you've heard it here. You know who we're looking out for, which players to look out for. So, look, if you're following us here on Facebook, we just want to let you know that we would love for you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're going to be slowly moving our streaming over to YouTube over the coming weeks, and we'd hate for you to miss out once we actually do that. We're not shutting off Facebook. We're just going to be looking at just streaming from YouTube. Also, we don't want you to miss any of our special clips and the special videos that we are putting up. We're putting them up exclusively on YouTube. So grab your phone out, pull up the YouTube app and hit the like, subscribe, and the notification button and follow us there. So we'd love to see you there. Now, boys, let's get a rundown.
One more thing. Injuries, Brad.
Yeah, let's get a rundown of the injuries, Matt.
Sorry, mate. I didn't know where you're going. So Jager, Wingard, a chance being tested, both with soreness. Clarko said if it was a big game, I think he said was his words, they probably could have played. Segler's a test with the ankle. Burgoyne's another week out. We had the question earlier about DGB. He's 4 to 6. It's going a little bit slower than was hoped. Bramble, it's a shame. He was having a cracking first half last week, but he's done a hamstring, so 4 to 5 weeks according to Hawthorn's website. And then we've got Dacius Mitchell still indefinite. So, I think interesting. O'Meara and Wingard just a lock straight back in. Segler is interesting there, whether he comes back in. Might need the tallness.
Very good. The other 8 ones that we've got. But, yeah, Wingard and O'Meara straight back in. Interesting to see who the fans think might come out, especially on the half-forward line for Wing as well. So if any fans want to comment, feel free. And, interesting. I think O'Meara comes in personally for McGuinness. Nothing against Finn. He hasn't put a foot wrong. He's just a young man making his way, and sometimes it's a case of somebody's got to miss out. So,
Yep.
All right, boys. Well, let's move on. Let's talk about the upcoming game. We've got a little bit of time. Let's talk about West Coast. What do we got to look out for this week? Is it the forward line? Is it the midfield? It's probably everywhere. Are they still in form? I mean, they played themselves into form against Fremantle last week by the looks of it.
Yeah, it's Sunday 110 at the G, Mother's Day. So, yeah, they've 132 smashed Freo 73, but I think it's for mine. Kennedy, Darling, Oscar Allen. You got to work out a way to try and limit that. So, Brad, you've got which one of those have you got as a tall defender? Are you a tall?
Me? Oh, which one am I going on? I'll go Oscar.
Yeah. Done.
He's the biggest threat. I'll shut him down.
Two other talls, and that's for mine. But who was it? Tim Kelly, 42 posies last week. So, I'm not sure of his season-long form. Reece, you watch it very closely, but that's for mine. Obviously, they just get it down there to those talls, and they do a good job generally.
Yeah, Kelly came out after the game and said that he was feeling good because no one came and stood next to him. So if Liam Shiels or James Warple want to go up to him and get into him early, that would be fantastic. But I think like the Saints game, they've got this three-headed monster, of course, but if the ball's going in there easily enough, I mean, us three could almost kick bags the way it's going. But no Shuey, no Yo, and they still beat Fremantle in the clearances by 9. That's got my alarm bell singing or ringing, if I can talk properly.
There you go. Maybe Howe could be your tagger there, Reece. Take it over, Kelly.
This is just a left wing, an out there thought, left field thought. Wouldn't it have been great to have seen CJ play on Brad Hill, shut him down?
Yeah, it would have been nice.
I mean, he's obviously playing a roll down back, but man, I thought if anyone could shut down Brad Hill, it would have been him.
Yep.
Come on, can I get some support for this? I'm thinking this is a great idea, and we got to rally this.
Going on. That's through the guts. I think CJ, we needed him just helping bring that ball out of your defensive 50, and that's I think more the role he was He was attending that area a little bit more. Oh, but mate,
all
it's
right,
good
go
viewing.
whiz on my parade. I get it. All right,
it's good viewing. So here we go.
I just want to see him in the midfield.
Yeah, he's definitely a see ball, get ball, meters game kind of player. I think on a half-forward flank, trailing Brad Hill.
Trailing him? You wouldn't be trailing him, mate.
He went to Dan Butler early and in the third quarter as well, and Butler got away from him a couple of times. So I like the idea of pace on pace. Maybe that's something Brocky could be employed as, the crummer and then potentially a defensive forward type. I don't mind the pace on pace, but they just had too many. Hunter Clark and I was going to say Brad Crouch, and he's not quick. Brad Hill, and these guys just tore us apart. But for the Eagles, I think it sounds like we're playing the broken record at the moment, but our midfield just need to break even. We're not asking for massive victories. If they're going to get a clearance, they're going to get a clearance, but don't let it be an easy one. Don't let it be an effective one. The pressure on the midfielders will put pressure on the forwards, and it's a domino effect. So
it's working out that puzzle from last week then, isn't it, Reece? Because if we could have just done that, just where's the magic wand? Is it O'Meara back in the side and Wingard helping us free some midfield pressure? I don't know. Clearance.
Well, having the number one centre clearance player and number two total clearance player back in the side is going to be a massive help. So I wouldn't mind if O'Meara stood next to Kelly just as an accountable, not a tag, but stand next to him at the stoppage and then burn off him, because it's probably 90% of the time it's going to go to one of them. So if we just get it to Jaeger more than Tim, we might be able to win a battle there. So an interesting watch. How optimistic are we, boys?
One little glimmer is this. West Coast away has been a loss in round 2 to the Dogs, a loss in round 4 to the Saints, and a loss in round 6 to Geelong, where they got absolutely pantsed. So I don't know if we can. Maybe we do need to bring, like Geelong, just bring out the players in wheelchairs. So Burgoyne does get it. He isn't in this week with the ankle. Anyway, who you got, boys?
I don't think we're going to get blown away like we did last week. I don't think that's going to happen again, personally. So look, I think it'll be a closer affair, maybe 30-point loss. So yeah, that's what I'm going for a loss to the Hawthorn.
Yeah, I think the good question to ask ourselves is what's the highest margin that we'll be able to sit here next week and go, we're really encouraged by that. And I agree with Brad. I think I'd probably go 4. Did see a comment before about Gunners playing high half forward as I think they were trying to say like a Tom Lynch role at Adelaide. I personally love that. I think his field kicking is vastly underrated, Jack. But I'm with you, Brad. I think if we can keep this under sort of 5 goals, I think we'll sit here and go, we're okay. We bounce back. The Eagles are a good side even with their injury. So we hope the boys play well, the kids stand up, and we're not sitting here as potentially flat as we were tonight.
Yeah, and their lack of form, right? Like I think that the Eagles have been out of form because getting locked out of your own state would have an impact on you mentally, and I think it's taken its toll on them. So just like it did us last year when we had to lock up and go away, and we were the most travelled or locked away team in the league, had an impact on us mentally, and I think that the Eagles are sort of suffering a bit from that at the moment.
Yeah, look, I hope we get up and maybe weather will be a factor at the G and we can it slows the scoring down a little bit, because I just think in the game we're playing this year with the modified rules, even though it's slowed down in the last month, I think if we have a loss and it's under 7 goals, it's probably, again, putting games into plays. That said, the midfield, you just want to see the fight. 4 quarters, give us a fight. Give us resistance. If it's coming in thick and fast, hold that, back half. And I think we were sinking some more, that back half of the ground, a little bit more flooding was not flood, but, they keep a structure, but I think we'll just make it more difficult and we'll try and push them wide. It was just moving too fast against the Saints. So hopefully we can slow that down and doesn't, they don't pick us out through the middle, because that first quarter against the Saints, they were just using that corridor like, it was going out of fashion. So I want to see a stop to that.
Good. Excellent. All right, boys. Well, I think it's been a good show, and I think we've covered most of the things. Thank you, Reese, for that mid-season draft glimpse there, and hope you guys enjoyed that. Remember, don't forget to follow us on YouTube. Hit that subscribe and the notification button if you want to get the live updates that we're playing. We'd love to see you on there. We're not going to transition straight away, but we will be, and we just want to give you plenty of time to switch over to that. So,
and there'll be some unique content on there too.
That's right. All right, guys. We'll go Hawks, and we'll see you on the flip side, and hopefully we do well this week.
Stick fat, Hawks fans. Catch you later.
We'll be